Hey everybody, it's Michael again with 4G Woodcrafts. Today I'm going to be installing the Y-axis rails and the Y assembly onto the gantry. Alright, so the first thing you do, take the Y-axis rod, you start with the upper one. Slide the upper one in, just like the other ones, they don't snap into here, they slide through, or you're going to break the wood if you try to snap them in. Now, once you have the top rail in, you're ready to install the belt onto the Y assembly, which it says to cut it to 56.5 inches. I've already cut mine. So when you do this, you want to make sure it's all facing the same way. Have it flat like this, and then put it into the carriage. The slots in the back of the carriage. Again, make sure it's facing the same way. Okay. Once you have that in, what we're going to do is put it onto the gantry. Now, what you have to do is make sure it's looped around the front. And one thing I did for the E4, I'm going to do it for this one too, is I'm going to I'll go from the other side. Actually, I'll go from this side. So I'm going to start the bottom rail just so it's easier once I get to that portion. Alright, I had to move the bearings. Make sure, just like we did with the bearings putting the gantry on, you have to make sure the SG20 bearings are at the lowest position, the bottom ones, or it won't fit into place. So with the Y carriage assembly sitting here, you're going to loop the belt across the pulley over on the left side. With it over the pulley, you're going to put the top SG20 bearings onto the rails, and you're going to loop the other side around the bearing. Okay. And you should be able to slide it over to where I already positioned the bottom rod. At that point, you can finish feeding the bottom rail through the gantry so it seats flush on both sides. And now the Y carriage assembly is on the gantry. Alright, next we're going to install the Y rail supports, or rail stops, sorry. And you're going to use the M4x30 machine screws with the regular M4 nuts. Okay, then we're going to put the nut into here to meet this machine screws. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now we're going to tighten up the Y carriage, and very similar to the way we did it on the X, you got to rotate them until the bearing is no longer rotating without moving the carriage. And then you're going to rotate the other one the same amount. Make sure they don't rotate without moving the assembly. And there should be no play whatsoever in this assembly, and there is not. It's nice and tight. Now that we have those set right, we need to tighten the nuts holding them down. So if you see there's a hole right here, what you want to do is align it with that hole to where you can get to it from the back, and then put a screwdriver in through the back to hold it while you tighten the nut with a 10mm wrench. And do the same thing with the other side. Line it up with one of the holes. Hold it with the screwdriver and tighten. Alright, at this point we have all the bars and belts on. Of course we'll tighten the belts later. And we have the Y carriage and everything is moving nice and smooth. I'm going to go ahead and install a drag chain on top here. And I will show you how that goes once I have it done. I did get a smaller drag chain so it will fit in between the bolts on here. And because of that, the one I got doesn't open. So I'm actually going to rewire my DeWalt router so I can feed the wires through. I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and I'll show you my progress later on. That's all I've got for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.